Welcome to the Room Hosting Committee of the Miami Book Fair International. This year, Dr. Alicia Giovinazzo and Dr. Thomas Meyer will be co-chairing this committee. This year's fair is just as exciting as ever with over 300 authors and several hundred vendors. The Comics Galaxy for cartoon enthusiasts and the Children's Alley where there are reading activities, storytellers, and a seemingly never-ending lineup of enrichment and enjoyment for our young ones. Dr. Giovinazzo and Dr. Meyer welcome you as room hosts, and you will in turn welcome the authors as well as the hundreds of fairgoers who will be at the fair when you are a volunteer. The book fair takes place at the Wolfson campus of Miami-Dade College, downtown at 300 Northeast 2nd Avenue. The author sessions take place within the buildings throughout the grounds and even in a fully transformed parking lot where we have a presentation pavilion. Many of our room hosts are assigned to these pavilions and they are located in the transformed parking lot, which is at Northeast 3rd Street between 2nd and 1st Avenues. We recommend that you familiarize yourself with the fairgrounds, location of the specific room in which you will be room hosting prior to that Saturday or Sunday by reviewing the book fair map that is available at the web address we have provided. Upon review of your room hosting schedule provided by us, please let us know if you have any questions regarding the location of your volunteer assignment. As a room host, your responsibility is to welcome the audience and introduce the introducer of that particular author session. You are in charge of the room. You need to start the session on time and you need to end the session on time. There are many instances, however, when the introducer is simply not there. There may be circumstances that have precluded that person's attendance, whether it is an unforeseen circumstance that occurred at the last moment, or perhaps the book fair office has not confirmed an introducer for that session. Therefore, it is very important that you be prepared and introduce the author in the event that there is no introducer for that session. It is your responsibility to do so as room host. We advise you to Google the authors beforehand to familiarize yourself with their bios. You can also go to the book fair website where there is biographical information on every single author that will appear at the fair. There will also be a binder in the room, and that binder will contain official biographical information on the author. Please prepare ahead of time in the event that you may need to introduce the authors in your room. You should plan to arrive at the fair at least 45 minutes prior to the starting time of your assignment. Why? Because I can assure you that day, downtown Miami will be bustling with lots and lots of fairgoers that are trying to get into the parking garage to park, and fairgoers that are approaching the downtown area to get themselves to the fair. Therefore, you need to allow yourself ample time. You should plan to park in the Wolfson campus parking garage where there is free parking, and plan to enter the fair at the entrance located on Northeast 5th Street and 2nd Avenue, because that will be the most convenient entrance for you, located close to the Wolfson parking garage. Once you arrive at the entrance of the book fair, simply show them your confirmation volunteer email and ID that you are a volunteer room host and you will not be charged the admission fee. For your information, all MDC employees and MDC students with an MDID will be allowed in free of charge. For those who are not part of the MDC family, there is an $8 charge. So now that you are on the grounds of the book fair and you are walking through the streets and passing by the colorful booths of all the publishers and booksellers that are exhibiting their works and selling to the public, you will proceed to Building 1, Room 1160, which is the upper area of the Continuing Education Department. Walk up the short flight of stairs and there you will be greeted by a volunteer supervisor. He or she will provide you with a room host badge. You should pick up the room host binder for your room only if you are the first volunteer for the day for that particular room. So those of you who have a session on Saturday or Sunday that begins at 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m., it will be your responsibility not only to pick up your room host badge, but also to pick up the room host binder for that room and take it to your assigned room. Each author will be escorted to your room by a room escort. So you need not leave your room at any time during your assigned period of volunteering. You should greet and seat the author in a seat that is close to the stage or close to the front of the room where the podium is and provide them with a brief summary of how you plan to run the session. Many times, there is more than one author for that session. Therefore, it is recommended that you have a very brief meeting with the multiple authors there to let them know how you plan to introduce them and how much time you will allot each of them so that you can basically end your session on time and also allot time for questions and answers before you end the session. Keep in mind that we need to start all sessions on time and end all sessions on time, because if we don't, we run into the issues of subsequent sessions running late. You are in charge of the room to which you have been assigned, and you need to maintain order in that room in terms of timing of the session so that we can stay on track according to the schedule of sessions taking place throughout the day in your assigned room. As you know, you are responsible for welcoming the audience to the session. That is a room host's primary responsibility. Your welcome message should take no more than 1 minute. Remember, the audience is anxious to hear the authors, and you should not read the sample message. Just use salient points of the sample message to deliver the welcome message. Remember, fairgoers are attending a host of author sessions throughout the day, and we don't want them to hear a verbatim message at each and every session they attend. Can you imagine having to listen to the very same message 20 times throughout the day? I know I wouldn't. Please do help in personalizing the message as much as possible while staying within the 1 minute limit. Just be yourself. Use language that you are most comfortable with so that you are as natural as possible, and you will be just fine. Once you've delivered the welcome message, if you are the introducer, simply begin your short introduction of the author. Remember, no more than 1 minute to introduce the author because the audience basically wants to get right into hearing from the authors themselves. If you are not the introducer, simply say, "It is now my pleasure to welcome Mr. Joseph Brown, Marketing Director of American Airlines, to introduce our author." And then, basically what will happen is that Mr. Brown will come up to the podium and he will introduce the author. We're providing you with salient points of the welcome message you should be delivering. Remember, please do not read that message verbatim, but simply use it in your own words and deliver it in your own personalized way. For example, your session begins at 1 p.m. on Saturday afternoon. You walk up to the microphone at 1 p.m. sharp and you say, "Good afternoon, I'm Gloria Jones, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to this book fair session." And you can read through and see what those salient points of the welcome message are. Once you've delivered the message, you basically will go into the introduction if you are the introducer, and if you are not the introducer, you will call the introducer to the podium so that he or she can introduce the author. And that, in essence, is a guide to what your welcome message should entail. If you have any questions or concerns about any of the information that we have provided in this very brief training, please do not hesitate to call the co-chairs. We'd like to thank you for volunteering to serve on the Room Host Committee. Do know that Miami Book Fair International is deeply appreciative of the support you are providing. The room hosting assignment is very important to the book fair. And again, we count on you to provide that service during the street fair on Saturday and Sunday. Thank you, and see you at the street fair.